Hi everyone, my name is Justin Odisho, and in this video editing tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this sliced sliding transition effect in Adobe Premiere Pro. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, leave a like below, and let's get started. I've got a couple of random clips in my project media bin. Since this one's 1920 by 1080, I can click and drag it on this timeline to create a new sequence of that same size. Now in order to get the next clip to come in a sliced sliding way, I'm going to click and drag it onto a track on top of the first track. So we're taking advantage of Premiere Pro's ability to work with stacked layers. So since this one's on track 2 and it comes in on top, we don't have to do any editing to the first clip. We can just begin cutting up this second clip. So I'm going to go to the effects control panel and search for one called crop. I'm going to click and drag this onto this clip, and you should see it pop up in the effects control panel. Now we're going to use this effect to slice this clip into 4 different segments. So for this first layer and first segment, we'll slice off 75% from the top, and that'll just leave us with the bottom quarter or fourth. So next, I'm going to actually duplicate this clip by holding Alt or Option and just click dragging it on top of itself. And now highlight that second clip, and this time I'm going to take 50% off the top only, which leaves us with the bottom 50%. But then I also want to take 25% off the bottom to just leave us with that third quarter. And you can't tell what's going on right now, but if I hide the visibility of the second layer, you see we have a clean third strip instead of the whole bottom half, which we don't want. So I'm going to repeat this 2 more times by duplicating and just adjusting the crop. So for the third one, we'll only take 25% off of the top and 50% off of the bottom. So we're kind of shifting that 25% weight each time to leave us with one strip again, if you can't tell what's going on. And lastly, we'll duplicate this and take 0% off the top, but 75% off the bottom to leave us with our final top quarter. So now we've actually sliced this clip into 4 separate pieces, but you can't tell because they're all playing at the same time. But we can use these 4 different pieces to make them come in at a different time and look like a really cool splice transition as you saw in the beginning. So the first step to doing that is heading over to the effects panel, and let's find one called Transform. This is under the Distort Video Effects folder, and I'm just going to work back down from the top layer to the bottom. You could switch it up for a different flavor, but I'm going to click and drag this transform effect on this top layer and create some keyframes to adjust the position. So in the effects control panel, let's go down to this new transform effect that we created. I'll go all the way to the start of my clip, and I'll click the stopwatch icon to create an animation keyframe on the position. So I'm going to click and move the X position all the way over to the left until it appears off the screen. And then I'll move maybe a second, not even a quarter, half of a second over, and make this revert back to original size so it comes in on an animation like so. And in order to get a little bit of a motion blur, which makes it look a little bit more smooth, I'm going to uncheck this feature right here, which is Use Composition Shutter Angle, and I'll turn the shutter angle up to about 250, 300. The higher you go, the more blurry it'll get. So when I play that back now, you see I have a slice. It's going a little bit slow for my taste, so I'm actually going to scoot that second keyframe in just a tiny bit. And I'm also going to right click this keyframe, and under the temporal interpolation, I'll choose Ease In. That'll give us also a little bit of a velocity where it goes fast, but then it slowly slides into place. So just a nice little touch there. Now we just need to repeat this for the bottom 3. And we can actually do this pretty easily at this point by just clicking the transform effect, pressing Command C on our keyboard to copy it into our clipboard, and then clicking on the third clip, Command V, you should find that your effect pastes in to this next clip with all the keyframes intact. And all we have to do is kind of zoom into this working area here and just adjust the keyframes so that they move at a different pace. So in this case, I'll move them over maybe just like a couple arrows over, and then just repeat this step. So Command V, drop down the transform menu, make those position keyframes start just a little bit later than the last time. And on the fourth one, Command V, open up that transform effect, grab those keyframes, and make them start just a little bit later than the previous 4. So you can see this one is going to go top to bottom just because that's the way we worked, but you could always make it go bottom to top or even in a random order. But when I play that back, you can see we've got a sliced transition effect that eases itself into place since we used that ease in temporal interpolation. So it looks nice, clean, it's got that motion blur and a little bit of nice velocity that you don't get with the default transitions. So in order to kind of clean this up, you can always highlight all 4 of these layers, right click and nest them into their own little group, and that creates a nested sequence. And if you wanted to repeat the whole process over, you could grab in the next clip. This will be the new B. And in this case, since we already built the effect one time, you can actually go into one of these layers and just hold Command, copy both of those effects, just like we did with the transform effect earlier. Go back to our original composition and sequence, and then make 4 duplications of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And for example, since I grabbed the first one on the bottom, I can just paste the effects here. I can go back in here, make sure I grab from the right layer, grab these effects, go back, paste them on number 3, and repeat this process. And in this method, I don't have to build it completely from scratch anymore. I just have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the copy pasting. So you can see in real time that only took a few seconds. And if I want, I can nest these again. And now we have another slide transition that I created in a fraction of the time it took for me to create the first one. So you can play around with the timing and the different positioning of the keyframes and effects you apply, but slicing things into 4 can give you some pretty interesting results. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it below, let me know what you thought in the comments, and subscribe to my channel if you're not yet, if you enjoy more types of these videos. If you guys want, you can follow me on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Odisho to stay in touch with me, keep up to date, send me messages, and once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.